Katrina Kwame Nyamiadom abayin ba sugo mampanyin so ne the vice president so gidigidi sa Nyamiadom for the first time institution in history enya approval economy over 2000% increment in budgetary allocation na iguso any finance ministry so edi nkita so be release amaye betimi aboa na yetumi de moasonko aboa civil servants and public servants across the length and breadth of the country into your teacher new your lecturer say menu apanya bidro hay na oye hwan obi oye adwuma ma ban bia ana obi oye adwuma kweza governmental institution you qualify ntini nyane so be call your website www.pshlsb.gov.gh now akoto your application forms no start processing bi ye dey an say ye be ma abansi ma sika na emfamboa na public servants and civil servants ontumi emfamc dan ne entumi renovation on modan on masi dada na wona on so akate betimi support so monto dan no mo fanto enti ye bompa ye say ye release be break through quickly na yetumi dey support sankrofo enti ye da aban ne the president of the republic na Adam Kwakufuado any the vice president as wo kwan so nko a offer so page wani so ombose omrehwe this institution na etimi jan na so because over the 40 years no we are na institution dey na egu anisa na ye ba ye no so kakra ye ye de boa na etimi structure institution manager na so ya ye a egu so ekore ni say Nyamiadom maybe bedru a obi a be hu say institution we no ni a waye ni na ni a ye de ni nyina so betudwa magana for ati edwuma egu so a ye bo across the country na
public servants housing loan scheme na idea o hodada
na o hodada owura Kwame
minti do
no crepa na wo 45 years ago na wo ho na chese ni wan say na hwe nhihye na adwuma no akofom chese na gu ana na gu anisa because me say me appointment ye dem chair me say me ko na website kra na yini bi just institution over the years now just about a year the kakrani na appoint na call na money website can just say more major challenges therefore if any team develop your website and your platform bet me ato your forms so be it me the other structures scheme of service it me any approval good any other structures good for mama institution no sin kakra me say nchen so you be call baby a officer aban eguso edin kita good for my betimi atimi akoto so but the good thing is there's a focus on the institution going forward and then because over the period na nipa bebre na sen obi anso na adamfo ba ko mi no obanim no na bia on the northern part of the country I saw for car no better form Accra and also be okopie brekum na say central region na say eastern region baby I saw for car better form and the san she ni na etwemo obetumi atop form wherever you find yourself in the country even in the forgotten part of the country obetumi atop forms ni bi ni na kire say nyuma pa abane di nhihye pagu fama egu so a ye hihye abema ne mako yanim ye yeko yanim no opanyi Kwame ade ba ko ye medekesen so apart from say ye budgetary allocation no abane tumi aboa na yetumi enya more increasing because over the period na ye nya bi kura na sika na ye nya bi na we from the period of 2018 basi 2008 basi 2016 yes kabia papa bia free by one support institution until now whatever they were dwelling on was the revolving funds kaka krabia there or no more 10 around but so say no because of this kind of focus on them say yakọ yanim no you best start countrywide tour na you start to be the about first na ye ne Ghana for bedin kita ho na ye hu nyuma pa aban no edi egu from ne Japan edi egu from ye de beboa public servants and civil servants across the country.
Prof Mache
ai dine
boko de
Nyamiadom na onso e
nyame ho public servants housing loan scheme what in dinda
environment abo bi e tsa
me grasa
mented
and to think has been 45 years.
Mented.
Rachel also has been around for 45 years.
Oh yeah, 45 years.
45 years.
Me yambo mi di se me kona mented. Yambo mi di kwana na me hwehwe kwana me nya website mpo. Wow. Ntina je say there was a major problem.
Nti wona de
no crepa.
Comes well.
Dana for what da?
Grandpa didn't say that. You know, I worked at public sector.
Anytime me be sound. That's why me share that's only last person maybe sound.
Grandpa, yeah,
Because unim Dr. Indum Bao can I say Dr. Indum Nankasa. Obelidi public sector reform organa.
Exactly.
Na for in here Juma.
Yeah.
So one to that.
Yeah, you answer that.
Yeah.
What you see the me and Jumano awesome papa. The reason why I also need that
Wow. And big potential.
The housing scheme or a link to salary because your ability to service the debt or critical. It's mean Jumana or no. It's a or direct correlation to so many departments.
Exactly.
For him to be able to be successful, no. You many of the issues that have to do with the single spine salary administration needs to be streamlined and improved. Then the conditions of work and service of the public servant, you know, needs to be improved. And nejumano or ye massive in terms of first of all the potential impact, you know, will be a small piece of property. Oh yeah, Juma 20-30 years. We are Obenya baby the niti atu. Now, say or build the new scheme new year. Next will make a funding available. Now, the ability to service, the ability to contract and service the facility now or provide, you know. So yeah, another huge situation. Then there's an issue of consolidation of wages and salary. Many of the people in the public service, when they are in service, want pet consolidation because we feel there when you take a crowd or when you some small but ni referee there when you are being looked at for the loan scheme now, they are looking at what you take home.
Yeah.
Your net pay. They are not talking about your small on the side because you don't want it taxed you don't want it to come into the bracket. And to me you maybe with such a massive area or they will pay attention. Now we'll give him the right tools for him to be successful. Until them sometimes you are put in a place one for tools now more, then you are set up to fail because of the interlinking aspect of his job. No job, no just there secure 1 million. Every was set a criteria. Come and apply. How many people can apply?
Talking about funding,
in the times of
Richard,
inflation.
how are you funded? When
So yeah, we share at na say buy my annual budget, and so we are mandated to look out for grants from grant-giving institutions, friendly nations, any institutions we are interested in housing. And that is how I am. But near more attractive. And money to America and nipa omobeti or paper some by and China. So, upon ye, the concession arrangement into your mouse can 2.5% per annum.
Really?
Yes,
2%.
2.5% per annum. That's the interest rate on the funds now the amount. Now, Ninyano is dependent on your affordability. Salary, you know, about 40% of the best service, you know. And this depending upon the security coffee. And the funny thing about
2.5% is extremely reasonable.
Yes, but yen me more be no more
ability to afford.
Yeah.
Yes, it depends on the patron ability to afford.
Juma now,
but near a woman say, oh yeah, me say me buy and I never come who crampons me who say insurance na nipano oji loan na within the lifetime of the loan as every year no obetua premium. So I decided to know how the renegotiation with the insurance company. So no, it will be one-time payment. Because you need loan no because the loan in the insurance covers the patrono be in case of permanent disability, accident, and asset death. That's the only thing the insurance covers. But Usha say money panel so or this can be an every year mama. So what we did was to restructure the arrangement and make sure it's a one-time payment. Uji loan as a loan period in 6 years. Insurance covers the period of the loan. I also realized that the premium those are not between 3 to 5% on the loan amount, which was a bit too harsh. So you have to do renegotiation with the insurance companies and bring it to about 1.5 to help. So whatever needs to be done, now there are other things civil servants across the country, or now only in Dijuma. So about public servant housing loan scheme now, Obeji loan. When I came on board, we've been able to have discussions and understanding with certain producers of building materials across the country. Bimu omo produce roofing sheets, bimu tiles and other enyema. Bimu so ton. And what we've done is so obeji and loan ibia. We have this arrangement. We can get you to go and talk to them. When you go, you're able to get between 15 to 20% discount on the market value of those enyema and modian. So there are various measures within the period. Good for just to help push this institution and support the civil servant, public servant.
Meaning, say loan here is dependent on Sika Edichiauka.
Yeah.
80. What is the lowest? What is the highest?
So, all right, Kwame, depending obi because obi wa no ne katuano oji wia ne ebeka kura no wasia gigi loan bebre. Nti obeba na ohwe na yi nusu a odi bia loan akwaji for head odi koto mobile phone odi ato rice cooker, all kinds of funny things be on there, nti eba ne said
ona be hu no funny ono so ne hia no.
Exactly, but obehwe ni pano at the end nya hwe kakra na aka betim dia man affordability na kakra bi bo bi so ba mutumi gi based on sa on Kojiji loan,
how come some Mosadi Hunduro?
Sir, or Kwame, say, those me bamun, some kind of bamunche, me bamunche. Now, the second point, say, now, those times, measures, and I say, you go from now, it me streamline, man, not obianye. Until when I came on board, na edi sane mo ya gugu from and I buy so hu enema ne anomo aye tu no based on that until I buy so aye na adwin so all the sikakese ebe so ya sene na waboa going into the future no.
NTF for public and civil servants.
Public and civil servants.
Aban edwuma ye for.
Aban edwuma ye for. Nti meno ka say bi mo ya bobo bi mo across the country. I'm sure say woman kwan bi mo kra betimi afre obi betimi indicate so they've gotten some support from the institution. It's helpful because say to me aboa na you need several institutions so some arrangement on betimi aba on board to say betimi collaborate at various levels because the institution bi wo ha almost sika wo ho. But they don't have the structure as to how to support their own staff. So we had this arrangement. So bet me have this discussion instead of you going to set up another bureaucracy within your institution. We can have some arrangement. I bet me support to na ya bua with this kind of thing. Ni na ye nchisha ye dey go for ma ye going into the future. And me say within the next month in ko bia no your budget allocation in bia nsa bet me aka na yet me abua more. Yet me support a lot more people across the country.
Interesting.
Welcome.
Yes, Prof.
That question I'll be saying very, very key for me. Per se, I hear now with me,
yeah,
range. I think so many other people. I'm just looking at a report bill how on there. Okay, I say I might launch it. So my home, my peace.
Yeah.
Last year, August thereabout, and more here say a bit me reduce. Housing deficit no every I think it was around 1.8
now.
1.8 now. And it's a big gap. Now me here prices are now those 8,000 unit Moroccan company being Ghanaian company say almost about 14,000 housing units. The report indicator said a range between 13,220. Come on, just do the convention I had here. 13,220 dollars. I think that's for 1 bedroom. 2 3 bedroom, that is 42,550.
Okay.
So even if you are we use an exchange rate at this at the current state, meaning say it's about 14, huh?
Almost 15.
Almost 15.
Oh, the upper cry,
Even 14.
yeah, upper end at 10.
I mean, 14 cries about almost 600,000.
And I'm so paying in the 10.
And see, now me say, you know, boy, na you say exchange rate. Ne said is very unstable. No, DNA factor into this, for example, and you were right in saying, say depending on nipa no nisika, but like grandpa Ekano, how many Ghanaians are public sector maybe to me afford let's say 600,000 for just a 3-bedroom flat?
So when we share obi okoto,
Right.
but you see, yeah, ni mamiensa.
But this is government's intervention.
Obi opeso okoto dan. Support a bit with the aboa. Obi only dan that obi timi agisika akwa renovation.
Okay.
Obi so or dan no a opese osi or asase a bit mansika amani de kosi. But the point is say yentumi bia emma osi usari kwantimi support sika no a odi be see the entire house on area. To betimi age no ahase along the line betimi abeji additional loan to continue until the point is say ohwe say dollar yet ya say say o buy in China o de dan ya turn in dollars ba yemfiu because by the time I am processing loan in now the value of the dino assessor
and the more processing in
cities you must see what the dollar by yemfiu because the idea is that we also want to find a way of helping the system change this whole concept about selling everything in dollars because I idea high and no you can be na higher inflationary numbers you know yeah bread to contain it because system no dollarization is too much enti we yan the adan a wokoto in dollars buy why no in China infew because we don't agree to this whole principle about buying properties and as assassin manema sign in dollars enti eno ye first point. Second point is say wo share no wasa na wo hwe waduane akitawo na wo na madaso na wafre obi amana bidibi na wo hwe na usari akitawo no enya ade a edoso na ebetimi apushi ni bebra eno no kire se wonkoto dan wonya asase bi se ha plot bi ana se plot bi e wo ba bia na waba na ya process ya ma na ya ma obi na wo de akosi dan no na say o ba beji dan akoto sika free ho de akoto bia dan o airport city ni sana na de eno no yentime mbo.
Okay, nti je say obi pese ono embark on a project or na sase waba o say bia estimate me here be 300,000.
Yeah.
Maybe some see that and that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Ya no ye betimi amount.
Okay.
Obi su timi ba si o uni bi mahu dan bia mpese meto.
Okay.
Dan no ye si 200,000 Ghana cedi 300,000 Ghana cedis. Me hwe me salary no metimi anya 100,000 from na 150,000 from ho. But me so mo equity
Okay.
funds are metimi dia support it.
Right.
Because yen by the time I hear more say can I see making sure say you discard more we are done here there. Because then we need to transfer the documents, you know,
everything
into who any the institution need them. Say na be ya BBS here institution no ya won kwachire.
I mean it's quite interesting. And how do we access it? Because also
Until how to access it in the first who are crying now office open office there betimi aba abeto forms in be. But yes also now any part of the country obetimi akwa website www.pshlsb.gov.gh www.pshlsb.gov.gh one so now problems or ultimate interactive site into to me ask questions the team they are there to respond to your questions or wait me a friend so now or any issues are ya guide you through the process now at me wow.
Interesting.
Oh yeah Juma.
Civil Servants Association clause sag ne why money on one kita when they was adwuma
because individual but they know of the existence of the institution. We say so long way no individuals never apply.
As a group.
Won't mean by as a group because obia ni salary oje
Yes, but ABI to say Ghana National Association of Teachers.
Their teachers are more apply more. Their doctors are more apply more. Their civil servants are more apply more. Their military officers, they have all kinds of individuals within the country. Nurses near they are more apply the benefited from the institution.
And it's 2.5%?
2.5% per annum.
How long that beats me and yes alone for?
It depends on the amount we are giving to you. And some the way be it me share. Now because yen percent interest rate na yen percent inflation but the because we are working towards Parliament amending this who at the institution is working to amending this act that established the institution but I don't know a long process but until such a time now a bit me take effect what we have to do is yen prolong the repayment period so the best can enshi
okay
that's a time I won't trust can yen and so when you credit me passing more from 3 to maybe 4-5 years 6 years
talking about a dying obisi of a 4-bedroom residential facility either an apartment or a house 4-bedroom onyaya ni timbenede or say obi o mile 7 new Achimota ACP Pokwasi Estates or pebidinene ain't so a 4-bedroom residential facility apartment say if you out there my friend 0545 505 702 0545 505 702 or show agent or pedanwura. In the meantime, yeah, Professor Kofi Ejekum. Your friend no opinion Ejekum, Professor of Linguistics, Fellow of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. Yawada Bay, 16th of May, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. Professor Ejekum lecture our Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences on Ephraim Amu. So it's the Ephraim Amu Memorial Lecture 2024 at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. The topic: the significance of Ephraim Amu's defiance of cultural imperialism. The significance of Ephraim Amu's defiance of cultural imperialism. The speaker is Professor Kofi Ejekum, Fellow of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, I beg your pardon, Professor of Linguistics. This Thursday, 16th May, 5:30 p.m. at the Kwame Nkrumah Auditorium. And also Edaho. From Professor of Linguistics, member Professor of Psychology. Prof.
Open lecture dear minya bera ma ko team. Comment say if mamu ofran to makura de kwa sorry ma.
Yepamon.
Ya no no.
I know see there be so onchi mamo da.
They say ofran to makura sorry nyankopon pe.
So enehe.
It's a very good lecture.
Anything about Malika
and it has significant
emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Ya chiwadwin. So front to makwa sorry ya.
Obo don't do sorry kura.
We friend the knowledge of self.
Know thyself.
Know thyself. Man.
The knowledge of self. Say if you are not totally in love with yourself and your people, now and share then the history of your people and all your great ancestors what bad before us, grandpapa, you don't get the spirit of overcoming and knowing who you are, because you can you the audacity of this man to go and wear his cloth to church. Now I catch her there. You have to distill information, grandpapa, that he is a godly man. He is a Christian, but you cannot add your culture to take over his mind and his ways and his norms. And we have to be proud as a people, grandpapa. I mean, this subject is my passionate subject to grandpapa. That the Africa, the Ghanaian, must understand who they are in terms of the human geography of life. Now, baby, I also contribution a bit to me the civilization. Do you know that America for na European for what Ghana to come and study how their divorce rates, or lower than what a civilized society?
Well,
with the high divorce rates in your country, they are asking us how are we able to keep ours low.
When it comes to civilization, it's subjective.
No, Grandpa, it's subjective. You see,
when it comes to marriage, civilized society, yeah.
No, yeah,
one wala abusianka ho.
That's right.
Me to me share Arabe or China when they am some pure simple by ended Monday by Thursday ni hour.
Papa, assemble that can.
Now
exactly what you are studying.
Yere wine you two more court. Na ya register ya hour.
One touch.
Ye two no pay hour. Na ne maami fi ebia na busuafo kwawu. Me so mebusuafo baby kwa wonyim da ya hour. Hour.
Papa,
divorce baby.
Papa, even the war study, no. Your family links and how we view marriage and how we view the union of marriage and the concept of family to family and taking the village to raise a child the same way taking the village to as the incubator, as the way in which we nurture relationships.
That's how we watch America.
Perception,
your
perception is superior. I am saying that the Ghanaian, we are superior in many things, in many ways, that we need to learn and understand. And imbibe these things. Because, Grandpa, look, if we were wicked people, the first time even the European asset on the shores, we should have killed them.
If
we open ourselves to them, and you read the war memoirs and our writings they were surprised about the way in which we received them and the civility as the
hospitality
people.
And the other side
Civility and your hospitality. Civility having tema for your for your
let me pull back where Professor Jekum lecture your Thursday but Richard obi say mo facility that is the public servant housing loan scheme or sene papa edisini down Kofodia 1988 yes I was just estate minia bako ben edison him says here
and then a public service
maintain that when Prof 1988 or send papa this El Kofodia. Just send me.
Wow. Grandpapa, say study the history of public service. Once upon a time, when you enter the public service, your first 3 years salary can give you an opportunity to put a down payment on a house. And the thing was so structured that people knew that in 10 years, this is where I'll be, this is what I'll do. That's why we had some of the best and brightest, most educated people working in the public service. Somewhere along our process, this thing was truncated. And I say, the housing scheme is linked to a much broader discussion of public service and what are the plans there in terms of what career plan, training, retooling, housing, and that my brother is putting in place. But you see, as you, Prof, you enumerated within the public service, they have different schemes, and if you have put this man there in charge of this, the law must be able to back him to consolidate all of these other things into a one unified, powerful entity allows the people to benefit well from it. It is haphazard. There's chocolate chips all over the place. So you need to be able to empower that department by consolidating all these small things around and put it together for him to be able to move. That's why I say he's working on legislation, because you have to do the legislation in a way that it consolidates and gives him the necessary leverage to be able to be very, very impactful and not go at variance to what other people are also trying to do elsewhere.
But it's quite interesting. 1988.
Yeah.
Obi to me access we ADC dying. So the question you want to ask is what happened? Successive governments, how do we buy? Is it because this wasn't one of the priority areas?
Of course.
Looking at, I mean, in some report, the kind of saying this housing sector may contribute to GDP, It's in a trillion, so
Mm-hmm.
it's estimated to be between 9 to 13 trillion. Tisika de background say a dying easy dying. And one easy dying a sika so one a boy GDP kwa a boy. As far as 1988 obi to me access now Odyssey dying. Obeso be some question that me then you see scheme no what happened to it. One is here, no, can we say you be the about say yeah to I'm 51 can maintain that.
Maintain that.
Just think, maintain that. Say there is such a brilliant thing be able to me opportunity to me access it. Now why you loan and this is priced in cities. So that it protect us from the abuse of using somebody's OB currency in trading within your own country. I mean, how beautiful can this be? And it's a very good. In fact, on the website, no, but me who another website be no, it's working. Public servant housing loan scheme. That one is working. The other one, okay, I'm not saying, but click a second or third one. So don't say information. Acquire a new application, also made to approval, evaluation, land documentation, board approval. Just say, you are in a good place. Obey to me. He can, yeah. Obey to me. Onya. And today's way is a very good way because come young ibe. Obi pe loan kakra bi di akoya di bi. These days also obi sit down do baby. On to me nkona ni bi no so oton.
Yeah.
And obey to me access saloni. No they are complete. No be akọ high no atnem. Ko offer some first a lot of uncompleted buildings. Bebre be 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. So any will be here or you bet me access this loan here. Now or the area, why not? And I think it's a very good rentier and then when we could hear chappy.
The challenge now can somebody working at the ministry.
Okay, so listen, Minia Ben or the Biaka home. I'll say my old boy was a senior officer at the Ministry of Health.
Okay, senior officer.
And I'm just asking my mother. She says about 3 of my father's colleagues also accessed this facility. My old boy retired in 1995.
Wow.
Ain't he?
Already into his house.
A big boy.
Ain't he? Where were that though?
But not in a big scale. I
At
think
all.
part of the reason why they can't talk about
I think
it
that's
in
successive
the
government.
budget.
The budget comes from government. That's what the issue is. The government how much can you push into this? Aye.
They can't even.
That is why
supplement themselves.
this time around, yeah, so say I mean for the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, and the vice president to look at what we are doing and also the kind of efforts are within the short period because Finikakra. Na yetimi abua na last year budget more increase by over 2,000%.
Wow.
It tells you
You are a private sector guy.
there's major
You know how to do it.
Oh, that's true.
You are a private sector. You are coming from private sector.
Oh yeah.
So you're on scale. No?
He has a skill.
So
I know him very well.
So it tells you say abano ewo any source of beboama dwumade na ye di na kosoro na ade ba ko a mehu ni say civil servants bebre no this one omo ba omoni age and they like the share their good form and the structures and the choir ba neman content more no as me no ka say CC me catch say application na ye wo ha a new applications a ye nya approval be 6 so it means that we even want more people to buy our forms and come through. There's this thinking say uko bebia na institution bisa bibia no obi na obeje usika obi anju penny obi anju sim.
Oh yeah, sure.
Any kind of day.
Oh the say me
hope you coming
Oh yeah, sure.
Open
What is wrong now? Can and so from home.
open
Yeah.
End means in the past I can't speak to those things.
Okay.
But say and me go through one there. And then she said they go from and obia no and obia within the last couple of months in Saka be from bachelor say obia no and micro manage can come apply from other part of the country no because we don't want it to be a crash scheme. nti ana many abrese gidigidi no say yetumi ton forms no online na man for tumi ton online
enti also online here the mbio
www.pshlsb.gov.gh
PSHLSB
yes .gov
that is Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme
board.gov.gh.
Oh, okay.
Na nita ne boy matisa no pa we yi ni down to ya send you a message so
now more phone number.
Your phone numbers are medini na be ma na mo pese omo reach out your numbers no so oma afre.
Interesting.
People are texting.
Ora kwame we are ready and omo na mabobo number no so.
Oh, my already cried that about 3 days in you.
Okay.
Woman with just 1 or 2 numbers pair.
Okay.
Bags.
Enti ebini 0277 86 32 11.
Okay, and the Hibium.
And another one 02 44 33 614 72.
There be any correct number.
My mobile beam 02 4 33 61 472.
Okay. Ain't at least numbers me 0277 863211. That is 0277 863211. And 0243 361 472. Alisa a numbers you bet me a free Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme. So yeah, aban dwuma kwa dia. Bet me akwacha la ko hare say Ura Richard Yabasante Dr. Richard Yabasante say edwuma no wo ye no. So 3 year we bet me enye bi.
Me you be a doctor but you say puha yo.
And I said
okay doctorate to do.
I don't know why you my bread.
Pretty boy pal.
Obiso say Kwame. Before Akufo-Addo's government came to power, Ghana Post, Ghana Publishing, State Housing, and many other state institutions, including this public and civil servant housing loan scheme, were almost wiped out. These institutions are working and working good. Interesting that Nana Ofori, who worked closely with Dr. Ndoma, the Minister of Public Service, didn't even know about the existence of such a body. Ghanaians are now seeing the difference. Francis Brakwa in Kumasi. And then this one says, my late father also benefited. I used to visit their office in the building then called Hall of Technology, AESL. So say Richard Murphy's way.
But I'm sure that within the next month or so, they will call a new space. But for the moment, AESL building more.
Okay. More AESL building more. Right. Interesting.
Okay, I'm wondering, for their forms to be accessed, is it not possible, say, on bet me a banks, 2, 3, 4 beer, they can be working with them?
No, you can buy it online.
You can buy,
pay, and the money goes into our Bank of Ghana account.
Yeah, Momo account.
So we've created the platform.
Oh, that's fine.
I link it to the account at Bank of Ghana.
That's fine.
Until you can buy the forms, print it, fill, do everything. Because you don't want to say, you're person or in the name of so better form. Now what me I be now you are creating that platform already. So also now I'm sure say nkosi be 12 o'clock na nita or ma resolve issue na my in terms of your website no na ukwa answer be to me bisa questions questions now they'll get back to you within 24 hours and respond to your questions. Their team around or more yes and money.
I see.
We put measures in place to address some of these concerns.
Right. In the meantime, let me say a very good morning to you, Hajia Fidaus of Ardawusi, West Legon, Kwana Suho baby. Omoye mema tade papa suti ya no penti chese man kana semwa menya problem.
Hajia.
Inti Hajia Fidaus of Ardawusi, West Lands. Hajia mabu diwati Ardawusi for yesi mema tade papa se man can't wasem na mewu. Obi say the website is not working. Yes, the chief executive says so. Say hopefully by noon. Ejuma. Yes, Richard Nakavi.
I'm saying, Joy, you do say Nipa Wajumanti. You won't pay for Bimus or Maboy pa in the because you buy a speed and near the corner. And yes, uncle for now, my own boy and car into Dubai because I buy a Jumano and I'm Embrana won't be brain tea. Who told me Kakurana and Rabbi Stopel and Obisus are me and my new count so we be I saw Mamrana doing.
Yeah.
Now, a share me former minister Russell so Obwame pa my made baby bedroom.
We under Western Housing.
Western Housing. And as I said, the current minister Ura Poncrom and any Jimadian tea on also a branch of Panjo and me called ye to Obwa and Majumadiano. Now, Mammy Bako, I saw yet done as he assigned President and Vice President Jumomo Boy, Madam Eva, who called Minister of Finance Chief Director.
Eva Ments.
Or a brutal. Or a brutal.
I see.
Or boy and pa say basic seminar in Sabekan.
Ain't it just a money cash kaka?
Oh, yeah, budget
because
I
so started in Nasema Chief Director of Ministry of Finance. That is a cash kakraba.
Say
2,000%.
There you go.
And when you have a accounts committee, you don't must ahead of time. Tell me, bet me a free finance ministry on. I have a toy account committee. Let me a dear budget. I only say I buy approval. It's me by now. I can't say do accounts. I need to be check. Yagusa da mame iba mens I say from finance ministry chief director.
Just oh maninya wow.
Alright, yes, you do man.
Yeah.
Imagine say we are supposed to help address the housing needs of over 700,000 Ghanaians. And yet small number. Over 700,000 civil servants across the country. Close to 1 million. Inti say you juma die no na se sankofo no bia nya house na ho. Sa 1.8 million housing deficit no. Etimi atwa bam. Na me nempo mre ne sha na ka nya mre ne sha na nka can be doing my time no an ka metumi aye ho bibia. Ka na nka me press ka beyond say be public servant housing loan scheme. Ke betumi aye bibi say public servant housing and rental scheme. Because you see, no BBA na we are saying na katua e betimi asidan. No bia so sidan wa brabo mu. Nti wo ya ne sa na afi so bia besidan a obi na katua ntimi support man into assassin sidan no. Wo yi na free nsise no mu. Nti e ba ne san bo by the grace of God na adan kwakufa do so e de nsise foforo bi so aba. One na one person mo renti the rental assistance scheme. I bet to me I support one on person so a rent to go to that institution and also get monies and funds to support. I know so a cost to get the amount for AG Sikabusia on a monthly basis. Within the last year, mobile screen, are heading to close to 2,000 people benefiting from that institution, which is helpful, and also across the country, which you may call the institution to access the funding. And I'm sure it's based on the vision of the president and the vice president. Now we share say almost any secretary, almost and boy cry say Jessica Bombet, I support you more now. We'll be able to do more to support public servants, more Ghana in terms of more.
Into Osha now, you're my na onka
orange who chama sikane do accounts man say na obo the road yes speed na man for ba na wanye sikana mouse another story altogether and you say madam Eva Mens and any team no obo tawtama na no pai income come na sikana to me apie abedi accounts any finance minister
ain't Dr. Richard Yewa Santana I didn't Santana one Yewa Santana we
opai nkwano putogum
Executive Secretary Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme and just say in Koma you know we didn't come out to say the proper crime but I bet any main conversation Professor Joseph Osafodin Adwinche Nana for you Sudin Adwinche Abema Ebusodi Omo Adwinche Efa Abefun Fidiesu Edeba na mekamo say Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences Ephraim Amu Memorial Lecture is coming off on Thursday the 16th of May at 5:30 p.m. at the Kwame Nkrumah Auditorium. The speaker is Professor Kofi Ejekum, aka Openyi Ejekum, Professor of Linguistics, Fellow of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. The topic, the significance of Ephraim Amu's defiance of cultural imperialism.
I mean, I've been, you know.
Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, where Kwame Nkrumah Auditorium, near 37 area,
Offense, Opebia.
Opebia, yeah.
Opa, my phone number we soon come home.
Meet here.
Members of my my friends so 055 478 1479.
Arbitrate 055 478 1479 into Public Servants Housing Loan Scheme. Numbers in that one. And then okay. Daniel Ochre Ewoga East or say I recently read a story of a man in Kenya who retired from work and used his retirement benefits to build a 4-bedroom house for his girlfriend. It may be pathetic, but I like to ask, with our kind of pension benefits, can anybody use their pension benefit to build a 4-bedroom house in this country? Well, Daniel Ochre, it depends on how much pension you earn.
It's possible to crabio. I can be strong.
Me too.
Me could do institution me who say na there are people are any na come in institution they struggle. There are people are obi oji loan na were resigning from the service. To repayment na ko issue. Chasing them na issue. Obi nso wo ha oji wie ya na obi a study leave. Obi so na voluntary retirement. Nti to help curb situations like this, you know. Michelle may introduce you an addendum into your forms. So you then commit your tier 2, the lump sum. Say a dream ra free service muna untria ye kan ya do lump sum no ebeti.
Na ye the TV na still out the
Nyamiadum ye sa ye the 2 jan nipa by 6 a achiomo no. Yetimi nya sika na etie.
I see.
Now, so why you loan now?
But in the past, you know,
a prophet being the day is not there.
Oh, they have been what? Kokrokoo.
Man must survive.
Man must survive. It is man. Won't mean to ya. Now, so mean to ya.
Juju and tricks. Yes, Richard, meet you.
And you know, son, near money now can be and my institution into me Tomika the way so too because I buy be here about recovery rate say ye this kind of my no more recovery e kosen nti I say me buy na the 2 months later I have to appear before public accounts committee. I'm say these are the sins of my forefathers. The sins of my
it's visited upon you.
But see, knowing the scope of Niamano and because of say already know beyond Niama machine no background of financing ne sign maninti. A boy mami to me put measures in place say to me a stopping in Niama bia na enkoyi. Na afenso be pekwan ya be fa so track it to me agije. Nti ye kura ko send phone now because there are people on margin loan no oji titipa na say you can 1980s ni adedi waji loan na wie akwa pension ni onye ntuanwie oni what do you do obi wa oji loan no around those time na insurance arrangement na ende ya water tight arrangement say oje na ya insurance cover na ukowu a we don't need to cry because the insurance company will pay. But the good news about this thing is there be a share the statistics over the years sir. Object public 7,000 loan scheme loan cry so me catch me call advocacy na many omodi nkomo na me kam ko ye share rate man for egigigi na say nkofo ni nyina within the period obi entim enwuye na it tells you say your risk low na dey answer akatua na betiti sika na frimu control ability from so yeah juma other state institutions na we institutions na ability but their lecturers are omo investor Ghana any other institutions are ya ma omo loans ni bi ya other individuals omo other state institutions are ya support omo ni nyina no eboa enti nie wom ni se uji wia na office u be call pension na se sense measure che that to unje loan na u be call pension na o loan na so tua. Because we put in measure say 2 years before I call mention I saw what you loan. Yen jam mouse because over the years yet me more be loan na a cross the pension. Sabe already tria. ontumi ntwa nti saa nema we na tete no na ekọ so a antimi amboa man institution no engine na so but based on what has been done now no na say that change say me wona obipa for so be so adwuma de no of the or continue with the measures that have been put in place now. I think say is an institution a betimi aboa civil servants and public servants across the country and a betimi aboa nso so bebre because adwuma job creation say obiji busia no kusi dan ora kwame yebenya obi a oye messi na obenya adwuma firim electrician benya adwuma firim ka omo ka fa anwe obenya adwuma firim nti say nipa eboa economy ni ankasa ema ne ma koso nti that sector is extremely important me say kwame ye call gasem for koye meeting on terms of how to even have an arrangement to benefit public servants on Babeji and they were receptive, they were so helpful say
just like gasem for jimutu
yes they're ready to collaborate even with us. It tells you say there's a lot of roofing sheet companies that no mukoye be more even more area here be all of them were ready to partner with us to the extent say ubeji and sika now call channel ni omo kodi juma they were ready to give you a discount 20 to 15% below the market.
Not just say you just pay them directly.
Exactly. So going forward,
but I mean, you're rich as I'm okay, you know.
Yeah.
I was just thinking through narrative be say aban juma aban sika o say what sense na o aban sika de aban juma de edana opanyi bi analysis bi a che na o ka say ebra na abrofon di yeso no say we were like subservient and ye share so I said ye yempe no and ye share so ye until over a period from enipa usua enipa can adwene na think can say ye position abrabofa say uma a pattern be a toho over a period of time e ba be bibia abaye part of the people enti na yembu abaye adwuma ye ni biere because na ya abrofo na dano na sa transition na ye di free abrofo nsem na ebedu ye nsem which we call independence no we got access to our own CBA ebe share abrabo ye ebe handle ye ikuru ye bibia ye but we didn't transition in terms of our attitudes. And he said, Obi kwa jisika bi kura se loan ya Richie Kane.
Yeah.
Say we are not judging no. Abandia no reminisces us unconsciously of Obi and now oda abaya no. I say abrofo enye de won na epomade nti abandia we never transitioned. Because if we transition akwame what kwa jilo loan no is to help you live a relatively comfortable life. Enye usika aban sika nyina sika to age ni bi ene ye bi dia man say ye the budget say obi ni edan 2015 and a housing loan policy under President Mahama na Dauda na ye or ye e can say
Collins Dauda
no na housing we
works in housing
yes our policy my analysis now is say you betumi a share ni very well am obi your open na nya dan enti wo ko na ko jilo ni bi na we are not pricing ye ma in dollars ye ma in cedis aboa no nya dan na waji wi aka say mentua we dey
because I abandon
and it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge minim say minim say na work say when you analysis pa na wa twen crofo a entua sikeya obamu say ye benya bebre amantua omaje but if you run a scheme like that opese oguno one pese wakoje ontua ka nti pese oguno enti ni nyina aka ho sika na ye de ma wono nyina efi aban foto na kama ye bibi dia rose ye bibi dia schools
wa na ko ise escape
ya na di amano enti wo ye de ma wie na ya ma be bi a 200,000 Ghana cedi o de atoda na odem na e bi abosom bi ese otu ya asmentua no aba bi afa and it's very common in this country the for Jessica omuntuaka because I buy sika I buy loan I buy there so we didn't help ourselves because Sadia pa come say na say come grader enye if it's a Ghana real estate developer, I say,
Greater.
Say we can year pass, say ye mean ye can. Now all the other institutions now I can one, or me to me about on board. Say ye nana of you can. Now my dear Gina, we more various flanks. On to me, I'll go so many ways. Anka when near them, Anka even not going to buy with Kanamankas, okay. Yenyas are so high, you see. They said, yeah, I buy a moment to be a money bene. Now, so legends. And these are some of the things I answer in Pancon. Say, yeah, I can't the day way here, yeah, encouraging crop for say. Woman conon cogiluno. Wokojia, ye omambapa. Netuya. Ni enjoy says Banwa. Okojia Mexica, oh, yeah, my dear, oh, yeah, my dear. A bicycle to BHB. I am a Pasica, I am a Messica, Haji Ababa. Now, would you now into your cat now, Baba? Now, Pesa Obano, and how do we help you? And I think it's a very good way here, and then commodity, a one year book.
Interesting. Chester, Dr. Santiago Baba before you program. Yes, none for me too.
Grandpa, I was there. Today, Prof. had a young transition. A brand Europeans never handle independence. Now we were waiting to wear his 3-piece suit. We were not waiting to transform the nation. Enti yeso yakoshe any 3-piece suit. And I yet to Ghana here a bungalow. Ona ofi ni kroma ba wa set the bungalow so he have a place to stay. Yankasa so ye PB.
And a Profoca, we didn't really transition. Me too.
I am agreeing.
No, you're building on it.
Yeah. The concept of our buying when the Europeans came, were alien to the Ghanaian. Our buying somehow is something that is sitting somewhere. And successive governments have not done well in terms of making us understand and becoming one. Because here is the case that Obia feel they're going into a buying na ye. And we see the transformation. In the wedding on also there also bibim for abaya and the ucha back. The concept and the process. That's why I make the mini and the battle. Or a huge battle. Or a huge battle because where he finds himself, there are so many factors at all play. First of all, the people before him did not put together a proper scheme and processes. How can you give a facility to be all retirement? You haven't made arrangement to take bulk payment, which means that you yourself have left the door wide open for the system to fail. Anyone? And if you say 2.5%, then inflationary figures are all and you can get a facility in CD at 2.5%. It can be a drop from heaven. But the fact of the matter today, the sustainability. So if you want a re-up of the money, all corner the what the money, I hate I collect it back. I collect it back. And you see, loan situation is in every sector. One where farmers, what you loan, and when some way jaja or the jar to if you know what harvest area or not the jar to what's the force measure. Now all these things we go through it, and so we have a system whereby in terms of paying back has become a cultural block.
You know why?
When government this schema, government must take a long-term approach. They must be able to give the funding that helps in terms of communication, to be able to educate, so that the processes that the person is engaged in or a long-term activity, because knowing that this is the culture of the people, you can't just give the person money, then tomorrow you're saying, you have to give the person time to be able to put in all the schemes, processes, and modalities. Then the government must say that this is what we want to do and put all the machinery in place. The machinery must be in place to support the work that the man is doing in terms of the loan housing scheme. There must be a deliberate machinery.
No, no, no.
Yeah, can them go for education work for fraud. They always complain of lack of funding. NCC, and all these institutions. Grandpapa, if the NCC is not funded, education is not going on, and you are sitting there doing your thing in your corner, do you think that the long-term implication, or the baby papa, or the baby?
Yes,
we must work hard at it. Grandpapa, all over the nation, if you look at the US and the history,
US.
One will go through. But part of that, sometimes people see the ending results and they think that what shall I say, I would do. You must have a long-term approach, systemic approach to solving the problems that we have as a people.
Now, only mean to say Adrian, I mean, saying the profession can have him, but Adrian, enka kosa line, naku truding, attitude to them. That's the kind of people we are.
It's not the people.
It's the kind of people we are.
It's the system.
It's the people we
have
are.
Created a system that people feel that their life or their livelihood is tied to politics.
And that's how
you see, when you do, it's leadership that has made them to feel that way.
This is true about co-register, not done in Tokyo.
Officer Adrian,
my classical example. 2016. Around 20 from 2004 to 2016. Now me a lot of advocacy on various matters. Now, my make us back control. On Aurora Collins, that would and I see actually. Me, I was expecting this to happen around 2012, 2013, 2016.
Why?
Na owunuya bi upa obia ngugo Naba Abdullahi. Ninuya, ye friend Naba Abdullahi. Na o ni constituency wo. Na ntitrasem pa ye friend ntitrasem. See, nyase ade a ye kan keko. Me twere ho petition come then IGP Kudalo on the activities of Naba Abdullahi. E mane tina radio so kura ka say onu ba bia ono de nipa kum nya de ye no omukum nipa vide. Or the assembly cry court na say amra no and this wo power no obi anya no hwe IGP Kudalo won tu wam na mo emra ofri aban mu no na ebimu bu ni chesi ya na omunyina adwane ye na omo cars omo di nipa gu tuo ni sekan mu twitwa amanfo. There are medical doctors no more ye outreach omo call the rural part of the country to go and do outreach. Omo call intercept omo ye political party for bima bimu ye menafo from other regions omo bu omo ejiju omo mobile phone ye niam bebre na then minister of local government na ye MP ninuya nkasa na ninuya tan kura no e ba ya na ye hwehwe na wo adwane no omutimi orchestrate ma some of the chiefs within the area a press conference say omfa abrantie na wodi titrasem atwetwetwe obi mu abo obi mu ne bon nche no enya adwen say control din na say nke ye be register area officer ye free say enye area ebetimi ama NDC vote kasabre within the constituency or materialize obi enko.
But only the interesting thing.
Why will you do that? What am go that now?
Richard. What him say interestingly. What point with Nyawo Kanaba now? But this particular incident, Collins Zada and Kazano Niho.
But say all these operations only
Medicasm. Let's be fair to the facts. Oniho. Anope yaye 2 reports. Baku efi Samson Kwame Nyameche ho. Ena baku fi Joe Power ho. It is beginning to emerge say Collins Dauda na uni ho. Yes.
A police for sorry keken ko chini pa. Intelligent intelligent over the period. Me no there me nka say be a guilty and also being a guilty. But me trust say the issues in that constituency. These issues etitrasem nipa abuburo nipa kunkum nipa etwetwetwomo over the years you go sadino.
But me
political parties
in the way
Prof one thing I say
it happens in all sides.
This is the kind of people we are. And Senator Nano Furiusu Echa Udi kind no. Adwene we trim no. Odwin wa said me nua panyin na me say Nyankopon wa mabu before no. Na abem. Because tie ye frau say Joseph Asafoedu ya chro ya wo he ya wo menumbo so wedding fia medi 18 ya chro fancy team afidie ni so odi team fa wenim gina ho ye twa kre Jokad. That's it.
No but
Obakono na MPP for
team
any NDC for near high bus.
Yes.
Ya din kola agum ebi enkola mu di 18 ebi mu di 18 ebi o mu free ho na ye di o mo ko
different constituencies
near ko register
then
adwene wo wutrim ni ya. It comes back to Nano Furiusu's point say yama ye nyina free say minus politics no
we have nothing.
Yes, that is the kind of people we are.
Then you go and you
and I'm paying for
you go and you hire young people and also what terrorizing people at the last week grandpapa made TV I know it's shocking. Me hope na do MPP time dynamite to go release dynamite into its voter reach. I cannot ascertain sitting here the validity of otherwise
statement.
But then security apparatus for them to also look into
in dynamite.
Grandpa will be so releasing dynamite.
Why? I know be auntie. And because sometimes
I heard the story.
I didn't yeah, you want to believe
because
that
I was like, hey, are we
dynamite
in Tehran or are we where are we?
Only dynamite.
No, but Kwame, the other part of it is what Kwame in say they said na million enough for year come. Beyond individuals now. Sabi ebi anadwene corrupt ni suba corrupt na oyena de basabasa no a certain system bia nhye bia yen ankasa isuban create whether formal or informal most of the time informal embre bia ntachiri they said you okay adentina yese enkrofo entwerumudin obese oboa 1 year di 18 years say oh mema meet me aka na makoha kwatwerumudin. Why would you want to mix such number with minors when I'm saying pay 14 years or the make that's the point. Now I mean it comes also it's like certain kind of intersection be adwena dem ti you know and a certain system be is collaborating with a certain system be ya set in motion say kwan bia so maybe bia na me win election and I say maybe biana so me say die on coming with die opposition is like an adversarial you know permanent I oh yeah obia which different just say we enemy now as I say when he because I'm not the way me neighbor culture within oko baby any pass line come on we are oko and the systems are yen so yeah certain and yeah, I am paying for. Down. We virtually are institutionalizing a certain mode of action. ye de suban bi egu akwan mu akwame embo ye nyina na da bia me kan e bisa say ti ye and my friend be kwame say this is 70 80 90 years
then
are we sure that we are confident say ye mayor ye tete omona area to trusem ewure mu kono atro na ye kan ewure mu no are we sure say ye bon kwakora na ye de o mention monsa can they manage us? Simple question.
Queen.
Kwame
na for obisi men kan say ade na kan dynamite to knockout. Inti
he never said
on case we see or say it is dynamite not knockout.
Dynamite explode
Obi abet. Yes from.
Mesra me kokora for yan be se me chia mo.
Me yom joso.
Me chia 60 years and above nyina e chia mo. Na yemi apanyi ba ko Apostle Michael True Okufodua. I say 30 over each year. Me triplet then to 70 79 plus triplet
in
Tanzano each year.
Now talking about 70 plus and a former national organizer of NDC Yabuatinjan is 70.
Me offer this UP Yabuatinjan.
Yeah, this UP Yabuatinjan. And now we did 70 years.
When 70 years?
70 today. Yabuatinjan. Wafa baby will be
Sabra no national organizer no. Boni himself.
This UP.
Organizing. But then the birthday.
And then
Open Kwame, woni bibi. Nyama ye complaining about nina your solution solution atitrasem patapasem ese patapa oyi pieto no ye de mra na wro se ma mra no eye adwuma na obi bia obeye atitrase obeye patapasem ne yisu mra no e dele wo sankofo na sa na ma onyina to betwa because kan wo se e de ohun be hye nipa mu ohun se ne okoye because nipa na okoye no e de ye obi na hye na hye opia no because menya sure say abofra bi wo fie young guy bi wo fie onu ko abetimi akofa pickup or sika auto pickup no auto fuel agum no asisa ni other colleagues agum no di tuo ni sika ni ne machicho munsa so mfam kowro akura be na be yesa ye normal nklo mo ye ne omo enyina bedu obi ani obeyesa obi na hye omachi na o chisa ni pa no na odi ne kokot na edi ne kotuma ona wo no mbehia bibia frimu ye jai say enya hwe fama nyame na ma emra ye adwuma ebeboa wo because bibi pia be sigana bia enya hwe ena bi make say ahemfo kura ye press conference ye ja na ye discontinue court processes ye fo bi bone nche no ye ne da bia obi aye bone na ye semra ni bedi no because owo ya abofra na obi bedada wo say ko register na undu 18 na ka wo say utiri ko yeye na ko pia o public sector na obako pension before you are 60 amount for adin ko hu so who ye 16 years who ye 15 years unu 18 na ko register na ekire nso yisitimi hwehwe mu na emra ne no dia ye besi achi waka hu na beyond that say be chi no obako pension at a tender age ebra undru so ko pension because I say trasani many nyina so because
obi see a friend papa akon Chairman General, I'm very happy you are emphasizing on our mindset, attitude, character, thoughts and behaviors. The Electoral Commission wanted to do continuous registration to prevent some of these occurrences, but our bad mindset. Papa akon I say mo say ye adwene enye ena na Richard Ekan adwene nye
adwene no na onim say even sa ntokwa esi registration centers no kanya say esi we say there are processes to weed out sa nkofo na woba abuse system no tinipa no ba na ohun a nkofo so uma file complaint at the registration center, then the EC will use the process with even the court system and the police phone to deal with those people. Yeah, you are money from. And so the panel on yourself or before so register.
No, I said you in a second.
Or 2 seconds.
Now, I say I dream in Yamas.
Obia and I dream say who stronghold there. so be ma sunje aba ho no de a be nya nipa ma be register no man nipa ma be register
we are good
leadership and systems
weekend so
and the leadership and systems don't they come from the black man?
But back off
Adwene nye mumenya
chairman
we have it.
Yes, Richard.
They say Kumasi Airport, former Kumasi Airport, and
Prempeh the first.
Nana Prempeh the first, ne airport, international airport, no. Omampayin and Adam Kwakufado, any otumfo, to Kokoso, also two, any Afghan paying for Echo Ebiano, Adi Fefe, and Munyam Sheikh Sonkoma, Asante Mine, Kumasi Mine.
You better say, so Richard Asante Eboa, Professor. Joseph Osafo na for you soon ya down mase but mo amuti and teach you damase yes ne apart from your boating January NDC former national organizer with the 70 years ora Michael Esiedon Kwa NDC organizer Bibiani Anwa so be kwa and ne wa woda happy birthday to you Michael Esiedon Kwa and then also to you Lenda Dakon of Ablekuma is from Sika Ayim of Peace FM Kwada so NPP chairman Oraya Bona Boedi and ne ewa woda nyami sure bebre Oraya Bona Boedi is from your dear wife Christina Maame nyako your daughter Papaya Achre Jasi Akwesi Queenie and the entire family to you Pastor Atu Hagan, BGM. Happy birthday to you, Pastor Atu Hagan, and also to Portia of Underlink Collection. It's from Jerry Ahmed Shaib to